Big ups to ZMBC for bringing this one because I remember my first time ever watching a Korean series and it being on the national TV. Well, it was awesome. I was so young, and at that point, I didn't even remember I don't even know the title. I didn't even know anything. All that I saw was that this girl was a good cook. She was fantastic, and it started from when she was very young. That's when she went inside the palace, and then there was always drama. You know, Koreans always have drama. But then I got so intrigued by the fact that this girl grew up to be dedicated and so focused with everything that she used to do. And I struggled to find this jewelry in the palace and to actually know that it was the one that I used to watch when I was somewhere 8-9 years old. And I remember a friend of mine and I used to watch this like no man's business. We were in school and we always used to wait for it, and then we would watch it. And now here's the intro. Apart from this one, there is another one where now the main character came to Zambia, and this guy had to speak Bemba in a few scenes.
한참 남았네. 많아요 오늘. 63번 넘겠다. 강사님, 혜성 씨. 이번엔 더 많이 왔어요.
어우, 그래요?
네.
와. 아이고, 자.
룸바 와쿠아타 아멘시 아야스바.
어이, 미카. 너 또 동생한테 양보했지? 알아듣지도 못했으면서 뭘 웃어, 임마.
또 동생한테 양보해. 루카. 자, 앉아봐.
다리 이게 뭐야?
줘봐. 이쪽도. 짠. 루카, 이 신발은 꼭 이 신는 사파토 쇼베피에 웨이카.
Em khoái là tôi thừa rằng
울렌누아 아멘시아야소마 울레이아 부이노 쿠스쿨루.
em khoái
그리고 꼭 자, 월라야.
어이구, 옳지 착하다. 아유.
혜성 씨, 같이 한 판 할래요? 가자.
So the two scenes that you just saw are from the K-drama Shooting Stars, and it is the one that I was talking about, where the main character came to Zambia. So he befriended this boy called Luca, and for him to communicate with this boy, he had to now use the language that the boy was familiar with, which is the Zambian language, Bemba. Zambia has a lot of other local languages, and Bemba just happens to be one of the main ones which are mainly spoken. And he happened to find himself in somewhere called Samfia or maybe Kasama, because that's where Bemba is from. And in this, you find that his connection with the boy did not just involve him speaking his own language, but then he also tried to teach the boy his own language. He came voluntarily to Africa, and this was the first time that the K-drama had someone in Zambia. Now, going back to the Jewel in the Palace K-drama, this was the first ever K-drama that was watched, or rather televised, on Zambian National Broadcasting Corporation television. And I was very young. This movie came out somewhere in 2006, and I watched it later on, but then it was still in the early 20s. Plot twist is quite unique. The father had a vision that three women were going to be like the guardians of his destiny. Yeah, so the first one was the queen, the second one was his wife, and the third one was his daughter. Now the thing about the daughter was spoken was that she was going to be somebody who was going to save a lot of people. And then later she met the tragedy of her mother and her father being lost. But then she found good people that raised her. And after she found those good people, she became an adopted child to them. They took her to the palace as a bride. So this is something that people rarely know about. Like those girls that you see following the queen or the king, those women, those ladies, they all belong to the king. They all belong to the king, because when they get to enter in the palace as young girls, they get to be brides. They get to be called brides. And I got to understand this in this series as I later got to watch it when I was older, like recently. So the main reason why she really wanted to go to the palace was because her mother told her that there was something that she needed to find out, and it was only in the palace. She had to get in the kitchen for her to become a chief cook, and also to find out how and why her mother really passed away. So she went into the kitchen, she did some work, she found out some information, but along the way there were people that were targeting her, and then got to know about her mother. And after all those things got to be exposed to some people, they were afraid of who she was going to become, and because of that they worked their hardest to take her out of the palace by all means possible. And they did succeed, because later on she was sent out of the palace, and now the transformation of whom she became when she was out of the palace was now what brought about the father's vision. And this is just showing the clips of the beginning of everything, and how her life went on. So the moment that she stepped out of the palace and then she got to be exposed to the world, she became this person who got to find out about medicine, and she decided to do medicine. And apart from the skill that she had from cooking, medicine became something that she was also skilled in. With alongside the cooking skills, it became something that was amazing. People were amazed, a lot of people were helped, and she really became the definition of the title, the jewel in the palace. So now you see the clips of the competition. They got to have competitions at the palace, and it was always amazing. But it seemed like it was like entertaining, and it was all food, but in the kitchen it was very competitive to the in terms of how the people who were actually participating, they had to grade themselves. They had to be always perfect. They have to compare. They have to do this and that. So it was always a struggle for those in the kitchen. But nevertheless, this girl was really, really skilled and ended up being very much awarded and had a very good story to tell.